I recently visited Sturgis Charter Public School West Campus in Hyannis. I had the chance to visit with theater arts teachers Anna Botsford and Diana Young to talk about the after-school drama club known as Stage Left and Right and the upcoming one-act plays the students will perform at Cotuit Center of the Arts and the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild Festival. In this segment, you will also meet some of the students and get a sneak peek of what is in store for the stage in early February.
Stage, Sturgis Theater Arts Guild of Entertainers, Left and Right, which is the west and east campus of Sturgis, have chosen to do 2 Greek tragedies for our one-act plays this winter. And we're really excited about it. They're going to be performed at the Cotuit Center for the Arts Black Box Theater, and then we are bringing both of them to the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild Festival competition on February 28th.
This is a change from what we did in the fall, where Sturgis Stage Left and Right worked on a combined production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. So there were students from both campuses in that production, but this time each campus has their own performance. And we decided to both do Greek tragedies this year. So they're related, but different shows, different casts. So it's a little bit different than what we did last fall.
Antigone is, I think, a very strong role, possibly the most strong role in all of theater, I would say, just because she's sort of a force rather than a person. She's fighting for a cause. And so in that way, getting into character has been difficult because she doesn't really have many weaknesses. She's sort of like a fighting, yeah, it's definitely like a force of nature, like a storm almost. And she's sort of fighting against something that she so strongly believes is wrong, but when in actual fact it's sort of right.
And I'm playing Creon. Creon is the king of the city that this is placed in. It's called Thebes. And his struggle throughout the entire piece is that he really has a trouble finding the medium between establishing his power within Thebes and rather moral law that Antigone sort of represents. This takes place just after a civil war has occurred, and Creon is the new king in Thebes. So his goal his objective throughout the piece is to establish his power and to lead have very strict rule in the period after the Civil War. And Antigone is this opposing force that leads him to already make a big decision. Mm-hmm. Do I allow Antigone to represent this moral code that everybody in Thebes really gets behind Antigone, or a lot of the chorus gets behind Antigone. But Creon must decide, do I stand adamant against Antigone? You! Tell me briefly, no long speeches. Were you aware a decree had forbidden this?
Well aware. How could I avoid it? It was public.
And you still had the gall to break this law.
Of course I did. It wasn't Zeus, not in the least, who made this proclamation. Not to me. Nor did I think your edict had such force that you, a mere mortal, could override the gods, the great, unshakable, unwritten traditions. And if my present actions strike you as foolish, well, let's just say I've been accused of folly by a fool.
It wasn't really a decision we must do Greek tragedies, but after doing Shakespeare in the fall, we kind of thought, well, why don't we stick with the classics this year? And we both really enjoy Greek tragedies. Diana really wanted to do Antigone, has always wanted to direct it, and I had stumbled upon a new version of Medea, so we thought, oh, how great to do such a link between both of the schools. And because we are an IB school, the kids study a lot of really advanced things. They have to take Latin, and a lot of them have read Antigone and Medea, and so they've gotten the stories before and are able to sort of take what they've learned and bring it to the rehearsal day.
And I think that the difficulty or the intensive nature of a play is no reason to take it off of the list for something that can be done in a high school, especially where we're fortunate enough to see our students so often and work with them so deeply on their theater work and their practice. So I think that picking a difficult play is almost a luxury, but I think that I wouldn't shy away from it even if I didn't think our students could handle it, because I think why not give them challenging material? Why not make them work really hard for
They
this?
rise to the challenge.
For sure.
And they've proven that they've been doing that. So.
For me, it's very difficult to deal with sort of the language of the piece, because being translated from ancient Greek, there are multiple different translations, and ours seems the language seems more classical than most plays. So I've found myself just repeating the lines over and over and trying to find a way in which they sound like something that a normal person would say. Other than that, I've been watching countless adaptations of Antigone and seeing interviews with people who have played Creon before to sort of see if I can draw inspiration from their portrayal. Thing that I've recently started doing with my characters, I make music playlists to get into character before I start memorizing lines or practicing. For Creon, he listens to a lot of very empowering music. Kanye West, because he's very full of himself. That's his main flaw, is that he's very prideful. And yeah, that's how I really get into character, is by listening to music a lot of the time.
For me, it's definitely more of a physical thing. I have a weakness with physicality, and I always have. And I think my voice is my strong suit. However, my sort of physical movements are what I have difficulty with. So for me, it's been sort of, how does Antigone move? How does she walk? How does she portray her sort of power through her sort of stance? And for a lot of it, I mean, it's wearing boots or standing more straight or looking like I am sort of regal, because in a sense, I have the power of morality, and Creon has the power of the law. And so that, he's talked about that sort of opposing forces. And that's, and also the last play that we did was Shakespeare. And that language was, I would say, 2 or 3 times harder,
It was harder.
to grasp and understand. So I think coming to this, it's a little easier to understand what each character is saying and what the play is about.
Yeah, we don't have a theater here. We just have our awesome classrooms. And so when we do perform plays, we utilize the community on the Cape. So it's great for them to see other high schools that have these great auditoriums and lighting systems and sound booths. And that's just a great other opportunity to work with a different theater. And they also get to meet so many different kids who love theater and act and direct and work, backstage and do the technical elements. So, yeah.
It's a really good opportunity just to hone those problem-solving and adaptability skills. One of the things that was talked about at an METG meeting recently is problem-solving, adaptability, because your play does have to go to a different space. And if you're coming from a big proscenium theater, that might be helpful, but even this place you're going is going to be a little bit different. So how are you going to adapt your show to still have an effect on the audience, but be in a different performance space? And something that they said, and I think we're really fortunate, is they suggested, perform your play in several different places so that your kids can go on there and perform that show without any difficulties, no matter where they are. So I think getting to rehearse in our space in our classrooms and then going to the Black Box at Katuitt, which is a really small space, and then being able to perform in a big theater at a high school is going to be a good opportunity for our students to just practice those skills and get chances performing in different spaces.
Well, acting to me, it's sort of, I joined stage in my sophomore year, and at first it was really an opportunity to just be silly, sort of. The first play I ever did was a comedy, and I played a stuck-up art enthusiast which was really just a good opportunity to make people laugh. However, for me, what I really love about acting is that you're going into an environment where people have no preconceived notions about you. And it's really, even though it is an environment where you're specifically supposed to be judged, I think that I'm okay with the fact that I'm being judged when I act, because it's an environment where it's more appropriate, and I've practiced what I'm going to do millions of times, so I'm ready to give people the absolute best of what I have to offer. And I hope to take it on through the rest of my life. I am applying to only schools that have good theater programs, and I'm considering either doing an acting major or a theater major.
I'm more leaning towards the directing world. I've applied to a few programs overseas for directing. For me, acting was definitely something that I was sort of thrown into, and something I've always liked and appreciated, but my theater teacher essentially just said, audition, and we'll see where it takes you. And junior year was my first year of actual doing theater, and it was the most amazing experience because it was something so new to me, and yet automatically it was something that I loved, and somehow I was good at it, and I had no idea how that sort of came about, but it did. But now I think it's become so emotional for me, and I think Miss Young can even say, during practice, I'm always thinking about the whole picture. I'm not just thinking about my character, I'm thinking about everyone else's, and what are the lights going to look like, and how is the set going to be up, and where is everyone going to be in this scene? And so I think I'm more of like a creator rather than an actor myself. I like to bring it into the real world and think about the entire thing as a whole.
Performances at the Cotuit Center for the Arts are February 5th, 6th, and 7th. We're doing it in rep, so there's 2 performances each day, so a 4 p.m. and a 7 p.m. And at that 4 p.m. show, you'll see both Antigone and Medea, and same with the 7. So there'll be a short break in between each one, but you're going to see each of the performances at that time. And they're 40-minute pieces. That's part of the requirement of the festival, so it's not going to be this like 4-hour day of theater if you decide to come. It will be tragic and sad, and lots of casualties will happen, but it'll be 2 shows that are 40 minutes in length, so it's a really great opportunity to see these 2 classic plays both at the same time.
And then we'll bring both shows to the Drama Guild Festival prelims. East is at Duxbury High School, which is about 45 minutes away, and the West is in Bourne. We're not sure of what time each play will be performed that day, which is February 28th, but we'll find that out pretty soon.
Weeks. Yeah. Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild High School Competition Festival. So several high schools around Massachusetts have decided to participate, and there will be several rounds where the schools will perform their plays, be adjudicated, and either be selected to move on to the next level or not.
Catch these powerful performances at Cotuit Center for the Arts February 5th, 6th, and 7th. Ticket information is available online at artsonthecape.org, or you can reserve seats by emailing stagetix@sturgischarterschool.org. For Sturgis Charter Public Schools, Stage Left and Right, I'm Melissa Chartrand, wishing you an artful day.